welcome to episode number 84 of the Solo Gamer Podcast. That would have been one of the moments where I fucked up because I did not even think about the episode number until I hit record, but it was there. You saved my ass again, Taylor. Welcome in, my dude.
Yeah, welcome indeed. I was like, every episode, I feel like I'm waiting to hear like what the episode number is. I'm like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?
I know I need to be better about not calling out the times that I would have forgotten it, because it's like that's kind of just, but it's become such a thing now. It's like I got to be honest, you know.
It's like one step removed
in the universe. It's like I would have missed this, but Taylor saved me today by updating our show sheet. Taylor, good to see you, dude. It's we're recording a day later than we normally do.
Yeah.
So things feel off. We're on such a rhythm with our show that things feel off on a Thursday, but how are you on this fine Thursday night?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Usually our recording days are Wednesdays, so I feel like Anna sort of like preps herself for the like hour and a half, 2 hours I'm gone normally. So it was like kind of like, yay, we get the time back on Wednesday, and then it was like Thursday. She's like, oh, on her iPad. So
yeah, I know. You're what is it, like stealing from Peter or whatever? What is it?
To pay Paul or something.
To pay
like
Paul or yeah, exactly. It's kind of what it is. It worked out really well for me personally. So the reason we didn't record on a normal day is because I have been sick for a few days. So we will probably keep this episode a little bit shorter because I can already tell my voice is like struggling. So I'll do my best to keep myself muted when you're talking, Taylor, so that people don't have to listen to me clear my throat and over here and coughing and all this stuff. So
yeah.
I don't get sick too often, but man, when it does happen, it sticks around for a while. So that's part of why we didn't. And then Kyle, as you might notice, is not here this week. He just moved into his brand new apartment. I helped him move in last Saturday, but obviously he didn't have any time off, so he's been working, and his apartment is a nuclear mess full of he's in that broken down box tower hell at the moment.
Oh yeah.
And trying to just get everything together and get the place cleaned up, and he just barely got his whole PC desk set up like today, basically, and he's just exhausted and trying to get that finished. So he's not going to join us this week, but he will be back next week. So
cool. Back
to normal. Hey, nothing, it doesn't matter. It's not like anything's going on in the gaming industry this week. So
right. Nothing too crazy or
this is no problem.
Life altering for the industry.
It might actually be good that Kyle didn't make it, because that's one less person to have to talk about all this stuff, and we would have been on here for like 2.5 hours with the three of us.
Yeah. This would reach to a 3-hour episode or something.
Exactly.
If not,
it'll happen. Someday we'll do a 3-hour. Some of the podcasts we listen to are like 4+.
Yeah.
Some of the gaming podcasts that we listen to. So
I know, and I eat that shit up. But yeah,
me too.
I know if it's somebody listening to me, they're like, all right, we could get an hour and a half in there. 2 hours, you're pushing it, buddy. You're pushing it.
I'll tell you what. I'll make a promise. If we ever get to do this for a living, I will do 4-hour, 5-hour podcasts.
100%. Yeah, whatever it takes.
But we're not. We're doing this like after work on a weeknight, and it is hard to do this. Plus, like when we do the football one, it's a lot. It's a lot of time investment with the editing, the posting, and everything. It's like it does take some time. So that's why we keep it as early as we can. The nice thing is next month the times switch back, and so you and I will be on the same time again next month. So that'll be good. We won't be an hour apart because it's what, 9:00 for you right now?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. So if this one seems oddly short, that's why. But yeah, look, it's been a good week for you. Just have you get playing any games? Had time to play, or like how's life this week?
Yeah, life's been good. Plenty of time to play games recently. I feel like there's a lot of exciting stuff coming out. Like we've talked about in our previous episodes, it's kind of like there was a lull for the beginning of the year where a lot of our backlog stuff was kind of what we're working on. But as of tomorrow, Friday, we'll have the first major release of the year, which I'm personally looking forward to. So I'm really excited for that.
I am looking forward to it too. I just won't be playing it until later. But are you ready? Are you ready for Resident Evil Requiem, man?
Dude, so ready. I've been trying to go media blackout with it.
Same.
I did watch I'm a big fan of the Skill Up channel,
Mm,
Digital Foundry, those guys over there.
yeah.
And they he just put out a review, a 10-minute review on Resident Evil Requiem, and he really really liked it. So I'm really excited. I feel like my expectations have been set adequately. He was basically saying that like if you are like a new Resident Evil fan, this is probably not the game to jump in on because it's very much like a love letter to the series. Kind of similar to what I think they were kind of going for with like Metal Gear Solid 4. Like if you just threw somebody into Metal Gear Solid 4, they're absolutely not going to know what's going on or like catch all the little references or nuances. So it seems like a similar kind of love letter that sort of brings the series to a head. I think it's like the series like 30th anniversary or something like that too. So it seems like a perfect little game to kind of like have a love letter to the fans that have been around for a long time and all the new fans that have kind of come in with the remakes and the reboots, you know, with like 7 and 8. So it seems like a
And
really good time for them. But yeah, if you're like have no idea what Resident Evil is and you're just like, I'm just gonna pick up Requiem, doesn't sound like it's probably gonna be for that person. So
yeah, which is fine. I think that's totally fine. Make games for your fans, right? When you can. I'm really excited for it. I watched. I love Gamer Ranks a lot. Jake
yeah.
Baldino and Falcon. We don't know who Falcon is, but those guys do a great job. And I did watch the first 5 minutes or so of the Before You Buy episode for Requiem, and he was saying, "Hey, I'm showing you stuff from the first part, like very first part of the game. I'm trying not to show you any spoilers, but even just watching a couple minutes, I was like, no, 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 I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it." But this release has inspired me to update my what we're playing section for this week.
Oh yeah.
So a little bit to discuss there, but so while you're waiting for Resident Evil, what's been getting you through the wait? What have you been playing, man?
Dude, I have been so addicted to Oblivion lately.
Dude, fuck yes.
Dude, I hit such a stride with it the other day. Like I feel like it first came out and I was pretty heavily addicted to it for like the first like week or two I was playing it. I was doing my little Breton spell sword kind of character paladin that I normally sort of do, my self-insert character. And then recently, after our Bethesda episode a couple weeks ago, or I think maybe that was last week, or I forget exactly, but I was like, dude, I just us talking about Starfield and Skyrim. I was like, I really want to play a Bethesda game, you know, like a golden era Bethesda game. So booted up the Oblivion remaster and made my thief stealth archer dark elf. So had a lot of fun with him. I just got done with the Dark Brotherhood storyline, which is so good. One of the best like quest lines in that whole game. So I just hit the part where
Oh yeah,
now I'm just
it's
taking on contracts and just killing fools. So
dude, Dark Brotherhood is so it's remains like one of the most creative quest lines that Bethesda's ever done.
oh, for sure.
Just like all the different ways that they come up, like the different scenarios and concepts that they come up with for quest lines in that game is just great, and like the twists and the turns, it's just amazing. They've never done better than that quest line, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like top 5. That would be a really cool topic. I feel like too is to pick like our
Ooh,
top 5 Bethesda quest lines or something.
maybe like leading into the release of Elder Scrolls 6, we'll just do like a huge Elder Scrolls,
Dude, that would
because
be
I'm
really really
definitely
cool.
like before that comes out, I'm definitely gonna re-immerse myself and like play a ton of ESO and
For
Oblivion
sure.
and all that. You know, slowly. I was playing Morrowind there for a minute. I have such a hard time sticking with Morrowind. It's really hard.
Yeah,
It's
it
really hard.
is.
But I know that if I push past a certain point, I think I'll start getting really into it. But it's very difficult to stick with it.
Did you do like a like look up a guide for like how to build your character or what'd you
I
do with it?
did. Yeah, I had a guide, just to make sure that I didn't, because that's one of those games that you can kind of, like Oblivion, actually, you can kind of fuck up your character. Um, so if you don't set it up right, you can definitely make life a lot harder on yourself. So I did make sure that I picked correct, kind of a decent basic build, combat build. Um, it's just it's not like the writing is good and stuff. I'm just not getting that. I'm not thinking about it when it's not on.
Yeah.
Right? Like I feel like I'm not really role playing in it like I do with the other games, which is kind of gets me into playing a lot of these games. This idea of who the character is and in the world. I don't know what it is. It's not sticking with me, even though I have such a fond nostalgia love for that game and the look and the music and all that. But to like really put dozens and dozens of hours in it is a tough one. But I'll keep trying. I
Yeah.
have not played that this week. Um, you you did write down Star Wars Outlaws on here again, so you were thinking about maybe being done, but you stuck with it, or
Yeah, I'm still sticking with it, I think, for the most part. I think after Resident Evil comes out, I'll probably end up dropping it, to be honest with you. I just think I'm probably like 6 hours into it now at this point, and I think it has an okay story. It's just the gameplay is just really not that fun to play. Like, there are cool little platforming sections. Like, I went on this mission where I had to get like this part for my starship, and I had to like walk through like a derelict like High Republic cruiser or something that had crashed on this planet.
that's very cool.
So there were really cool like kind of platforming, almost like Tomb Raider esque, like Uncharted esque like segments where like you're like climbing up the walls of this like cruiser and like jumping from platform to platform and like going into like dropping into dark rooms and like turning on a flashlight, you know, to like see through like the wreckage. So there's cool little moments here and there, but it's like anytime I get to like a stealth section, the stealth is just really easy. I never really feel like I'm like in a ton of danger. And then for the moments where I really feel like being like a Han Solo type smuggler with my blaster and I'm like actually fighting people, like it just doesn't really feel satisfying to like get behind cover and like use any of the blasters or anything like that. So um
Yikes!
yeah, I think it's a okay game, but
Yeah,
I think with Resident Evil coming out and they just announced the new Gen 1 Pokemon remakes are coming
yeah,
to
dude.
Switch.
I might pick that up.
Dude, they're coming to Switch 1 and Switch 2, so they're on the eShop.
I would
20
certainly.
bucks, which is not bad.
Can you buy a physical copy?
No, you can't, unfortunately. I
Come
think the
on.
Japan is getting physical releases for it, which is like of course, but like nothing announced for North America, unfortunately.
Yeah, so my fiance left today to go to um, her mom and her mom's, I guess, boyfriend own a home in Long Beach, Washington, which is on the coast as far south and it's like just before Oregon, basically.
Yeah.
So she just wanted to be by the ocean, and I'm supposed to go to Seattle this weekend to do music stuff. So she's like, perfect. I'm just gonna go on Thursday, take a half day. So she's down there with the dogs right now. She took the Switch with her because she's been playing animal. I'm trying to get her into Animal Crossing because I think she'd
Oh
really
hell
like it.
yeah.
So when she gets back, that might be something I have to pick up. And is it both together, or do you buy one or the other? Fire.
You buy one or the other, so it works kind of the same way as the old Game Boy Advance
Yep.
games. They have
Cool.
version exclusive Pokemon. So, but I know like several people who are also going to be getting it. So I want to like complete the Pokédex and like trade with people and battle and stuff. So it'll be
Yeah, I'm
fun.
gonna pick up Red for sure because that's the one I got. The Game Boy. I don't remember if it was for Christmas or birthday or whatever, but I got a Game Boy Red that was like red color, and it came with from Costco. It came with that and Pokemon Red together in a bundle.
Oh yeah,
So that's the one I have to get, right? I have to, even though green is actually my favorite color.
yeah.
I gotta go with the old school. I wonder where the hell that Game Boy is. I'll have to find it. It might be
Somewhere
my
packed
dad's
away.
house. My dad's house or something. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I'll be really, dude. I'm pumped for next week for what you're playing. It's gonna be Resident Evil and Pokemon. I'm gonna want to hear all about
Dude,
both of
I'm
those.
so excited. I'm actually hoping, well, I was going to play it tonight at like midnight and play like an hour or two of it, stay up a little late, but
Nice.
they're having like a presentation tomorrow. So they do like a Pokemon and Game Freak do like a Nintendo Direct style kind of announcement thing, but they call it Pokemon Presents. So I think it's like also like the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, which is why they're releasing the remakes. But yeah, they're supposed to be. I think it's going to like cap off the presentation, being like, and Fire Red and Leaf Green are available now. Like, after this presentation. So I was like, damn, I kind of want to play it, but maybe I'll play a little bit before work tomorrow because the presentation starts at like 7 a.m. or something like that. So
Oh, cool.
I'll get like a solid hour or two in there.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'm excited for that. I think I'm probably gonna pick that up and play it. That sounds really good.
Oh yeah.
Dude. So when we had talked last week, I had started Horizon Forbidden West, and I'd probably played it for like 2 hours. I now have like 22 hours in it.
Hell yeah.
I am
Here we go.
destroying this game, dude. It's just like it's so
Can't put it
funny
down.
because I don't like games that feel like grocery lists and are chory,
Mm-hmm.
but like Far Cry games a lot of the time to me when I've gone back to play them, I feel like I'm not excited to do any of the things that I need to do. For some reason that just doesn't, they usually don't click with me. But something about like when I say how much I love Horizon and how good it is, I'm definitely speaking within the like junk food open world genre. Obviously, it's not even in my top 10, maybe not even in my top 25. I'm not sure. I'd have to actually do the 25 and see if any of them landed in there. But as far as these like Ubisoft inspired, like sort of the baby of, there was the Ubisoft originally games, like the earlier Assassin's Creed games and the Far Cry games kind of created the Watchtower,
The Ubisoft towers.
Get the
Unlock
land, the map unlocked, and get all of your little bits of chores unlocked, and here you can go do all these things now. They had that version of that style of game had a baby with Witcher, which had that sort of open world. Here's your area that you're in. There's a main quest line. Each main quest line kind of has a level cap, and all the side missions are so super good, and you want to do them so that you can level up to do the main story, and it creates this really nice circular rhythm. Witcher was like the first open world game where it's like I had no problem doing everything because it was all relevant, it was all good, it was all fun, everything fed into it. And I think Horizon, as far as these junk food level games, because none of these games have a story like Witcher does.
Yeah.
Horizon's probably my favorite one of the big bowl of buttery popcorn open world video games.
Oh yeah. I would agree.
I just think the way they design the world and your progression through it is so satisfying and easy, and it doesn't feel like grinding, even though that's really what you're doing. But they just create loops within loops of you're killing these monsters, and they drop obviously all the goods that help you upgrade your stuff. They also drop shards, which are money, and also your ammo.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's just something about the economy of the game and the bits and the pieces and how it all lines up, and you can make a quest for the pieces that you need to upgrade your gear, which will then you'll run into a rebel enemy stronghold, and you get through that in 5 minutes. So nothing takes a super long time.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. And all of a sudden you've leveled up multiple times, you've upgraded your gear, and then you hit a side quest and it's got some interesting storyline to it. And then you go do the main quest, and the story has been really, really good, like surprisingly good. With every time there's something new revealed, it's both answering questions that are in an interesting way and then also opening up a whole new part of the game. So it's like you feel like you make progress, and you realize, oh man, now there's this whole other thing that's opened up, and now I'm going to go do all this stuff, and the game continues to get bigger and better, and it's just like this nice, natural, easy progression through the whole thing, and I'm loving every second of it. I'm going to tear through this fucking game, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
I loved my time with it when I played it, man. I thought like you said, I think that the side quests are all really fun and like give you really interesting things to do. I think where I feel like the main story in Forbidden West not as good as Zero Dawn, but some of the side quests in Zero Dawn or Forbidden West were really really good. So I remember I had a really good time with it. Yeah, it has an interesting turn. It goes somewhere that like I don't think you could like never in a million years could I predict where it goes.
The thing that I got to today, we won't go into it because it sounds like people are starting to play Horizon, and I know Kyle is kind of interested in playing them at some point, so we won't spoil it. But the thing that we just kind of learned today that I played today was like I think my jaw was, I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool revelation. So I'm so far the main story has been really good, but yeah, I would not be surprised if it took a bad turn.
Yeah, well, it's not even necessarily bad. Like I think I might need to play through it at some point to solidify how I felt about it. It was just very out of left field, and I did not expect it to happen, like what happens in the story. So you'll just have to talk to me about it once you get there, because like I have a feeling you'll feel the same way. Like it's weird and it's not bad, but it's just like this story went somewhere I didn't think it was going to go. So
I mean, I could say that right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not very far.
I think I know the revelation you're thinking about or that you're talking about, and it gets weirder from there.
Okay.
So
yeah, I just okay. Here's how I'll tell you where I am without spoiling. I just talked to Gaia for the first time.
Okay.
And I found out where the extinction signal came from.
Okay.
Which is a very long way away.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, oh, and before they spelled it out, I was sitting there today on my couch. Before they spelled it out, I went, oh, it's the... And then like 2 seconds after they said that, I was like, damn, I did not see that coming at all. What a cool idea.
Yeah.
So right now I'm very excited about it, but maybe it doesn't end up continuing on.
It gets weirder for sure.
Okay.
It gets
cool.
weirder.
All right. Yeah.
And like I said, not necessarily in a bad way, just in a way that you're
so
like
unexpected that it kind of caught you off guard. Okay.
Yeah, very.
All right. So that's Horizon. Absolutely just fucking loving this game so much. It's like just the first time I've just felt like this about a game in a while. It just feels so good. It feels like it's going to be the perfect. So you were saying earlier, like some of the new games coming out this year, I have pledged to make this year kind of a backlog year for me. I am going to cruise through stuff. I want to get through the Resident Evils, which I'll talk about in a second. I want to get through a lot of the PlayStation games. I just really want to get out of this year feeling like I did some damage on my backlog. So that's kind of my goal for this whole year. So we'll get into the news here quickly, but the only other game I am playing, I did start Resident Evil 7.
Nice.
Because that's kind of where I am in this, we talked about this last week. I beat 2 remake, 3 remake, 4 remake, skipped 5 and 6. I don't know. And you said I shouldn't even bother watching like a story recap of those games. Like it just doesn't even matter.
Probably not. Yeah.
So now I'm on Resident Evil 7. I played it one evening. Just got basically to the point where I'm tied up at the dinner table. Like just got the intro hour out of
Welcome to the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm right there. So I just barely even played it, but I'm going to continue to play it as we go. I'm all by myself in this house. I don't know if I'm going to play it. Maybe I will.
Perfect conditions.
Oh man, this game. It's so funny because like Dead Space or Chronos, which I'm definitely want to get back to this year if I can, but those games like the sci-fi stuff, for some reason, even when it is scary or at its scariest, I'm almost just as often walking into a room in the Ishimura and going, this is fucking sick.
Right, yeah.
Whereas like the decrepit house is a lot more relatable. Like, I can kind of put myself there in a little bit more of a realistic way.
Right.
These look like, you've seen houses that look like this before. And it's dirty
You've seen
and
them
grimy
and wondered what it's like to walk through them. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. People, you've talked with your friends about, would you stay a night in that house at the end of the street for $1 million or whatever?
Right.
Like, that's kind of what this feels like. And there's just something so disturbing about how disgusting it all is. And you're not very powerful. And in the beginning of the game, you're kind of running from stuff for the most part. Ethan is very vulnerable. He's not like Leon, who's roundhouse kicking zombies' heads off.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit different of a style of horror game, and it's one that I do have a harder time with than with the sci-fi stuff. I don't know. I know it's just window dressing, but it does make a difference to me and how I handle it.
I feel like there's a scariness and the familiarity of it too. Plus with like Resident Evil 7 too, like you have like the weird like almost like south like backwoods kind of like Louisiana bog swamp thing going on with that too, that like adds an extra layer of creepiness to it.
It's like the first season of True Detective with a bit of that. Like, have you seen that show?
No, but I've heard a lot about it.
The first season of True Detective is absolutely phenomenal, and there's definitely a bit of that sort of like, it's in the South as well. It takes place in Louisiana, and there's a bit of that occult thing happening. And when before you're even into the guest house, and you're right in the beginning, and they have the splayed cow in the circle web thing, and it's just, I don't know what it is. There's something about this game in particular. I don't like looking at Resident Evil 8. I know that it'll be scary, but there's something about the like draconian sort of, or not draconian, but like Dracula, Central Eastern Europe, Castlevania thing that I think is cool. Like, oh, it's very medieval. And it's scary. It'll be just like Dead Space is scary, but I feel like I'll have there's specifically this game, Resident Evil 7. I've never beaten it for that reason. Yeah, I've never been able to get through it. So it'll get better. I'll get through it, but I haven't been able to do it yet.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things you'll appreciate about 8 too is that like the Castle Dimitrescu is kind of like, it was in like a lot of the marketing, and it was sort of like front and center, like when the game was like first kind of coming out. But they actually take you to a lot of different little locations in 8.
Oh, cool.
Like places that like, I don't know, they go to a lot of, I don't want to use the word like biome, but like they put you in a lot of different like environments. Like there's like an industrial, like a creepy industrial plant in one.
Ooh, that could be scary.
Yeah, then there's the castle, of course. So it's only like really like a slice of it that you're really seeing whenever you see the castle too. So it gets really interesting.
Cool. Well, I'm very excited to play it. It's always looked really good. So, and I just want to get through these so that I can play Requiem.
Oh yeah,
that might be one of the only new games I play this year. We'll see. Cool. Well, I just love the what we're playing section. It's always one of my favorite things. I like hearing what you're doing. Someday we could just have an episode just fully dedicated to that if we have enough, if we're playing enough, or if we have enough to say.
Oh yeah,
be cool.
Easily.
But a lot happened in the last week. Usually, as we've said before, we don't really do a lot of gaming news, but we do it when it makes sense. When something huge is happening, it feels weird to talk about these games and not talk about what's happening with the companies and the people and the developers that make these games that we're playing all the time.
Yeah.
So whenever it's relevant, we want to jump in and talk about some of this stuff. 2 or 2.5 almost, if you want to. The Xbox stuff is sort of like 1.5 pieces of news because it's what happened to the people who are there and what happened, the new person there. So
yeah,
it's a lot to go over there. Before we jump into the Xbox stuff, we'll go in chronological order. So PlayStation, Sony shut down Blue Point Games. pretty much immediately after purchasing them. And to me, there's just so much. Some of this conversation will also, I think, loop back into the Xbox conversation as well about the relative health of the gaming industry and the truths that I think all of us 30 something gamers have to understand a little bit. I feel like a lot of millennial and older people who have been playing video games, we got into the river as it was swelling and had a great time floating down river, and then realized that we went too far down the river. It's been a while now, and now we feel like we're kind of swimming up against it. And I just see in the reaction to these things, both in the Blue Point closure and with the huge changes at Xbox, like the one singular truth is that we're seeing an industry kind of like mulch or shed its like a snake shedding its skin and growing and changing. And it sucks because what we love about it is no longer really what makes things tick.
Yeah.
And that's going to cause a lot of things like this to happen. So I'll start with that because it's very easy to quickly become angry man yelling at clouds with some of these conversations. And there's a lot of people yelling at the clouds online. And it's like, you guys, this is not gonna change. Like, this is just gonna keep happening until we're in kind of a new flow. And it's painful. So let's start with Blue Point, man. So for those of you listening, if you don't know, Blue Point kind of became masters of the remaster and remake, if you will, for PlayStation. They did a number of things earlier on, but their biggest ones is they remade Shadow of the Colossus.
Great.
And that remake was really, really good. I need to actually go finish that game. I started it and loved it, and then for some reason I fell off. I don't know why. And then they remade the Demon Souls, which is like kind of the OG Souls game by From
One that
Software.
started it all.
And the remake was a launch title for the PS5. It's still one of the best games for the PS5, by far one of the best exclusives. It's absolutely incredible. So that's who got shut down. Not as if there's plenty of shit for PlayStation to have these guys remake. But tell me your initial thoughts when you heard this, and your thoughts on Sony and what this means, and just everything. Just kind of give me your overview of what happened here, man.
Yeah, obviously it's really disappointing news. I think that the nice thing about Blue Point is that they have given us a really good back catalog of stuff that they've remade and remastered beforehand. So unlike other PlayStation, properties or studios that got shut down, where it's kind of one of those things where it's like they maybe made some really good stuff, but there was a lot of potential there. I feel like Blue Point gave us a lot of meat on the bone to kind of chew on before they went away. So obviously, I think the thing that really sucks about it is the people that are losing their jobs over there. I feel like, the Sony PlayStation boardroom would probably say otherwise, but I still think it is really important to have a studio like them around who are doing remakes and remasters that can leave some of these teams to work on some newer stuff as well. It's kind of a situation where I could have foreseen them making this, God of War trilogy remake, instead of Sony Santa Monica, and maybe freed Sony Santa Monica up to do something else. Now, with them, I feel like they're kind of big enough now at this point to where they probably have multiple teams working on, whatever their new thing is, plus God of War remake. But even still, I just feel like it's an opportunity cost sort of thing where, we could have had them work on some of these, older franchises too. I would have loved to have seen them maybe tackle some, Sly Cooper or Jack and Daxter, maybe some of these PlayStation franchises that PlayStation's kind of felt like they've sort of graduated from, and now they've got all their teams doing these like photorealistic Ghost of Tsushima style games. I felt like they probably could have stuck around for a little while longer to remake some of those classics, you know. But
Sure.
yeah, it's just always unfortunate. I think the thing that really makes me sad too is that I heard that they were doing a remake or a remaster of the first Metal Gear Solid game, and kind of partnering with
Wow.
Konami to do that. So I don't think that that was ever confirmed. I think it was something that was like widely rumored. So I'm really, really sad that we're not going to get that, because if we do ever get a Metal Gear Solid 1 remaster, I think it has the potential to be like a like favorite game of all time for me, even over something like KOTOR, which we have to wait for the KOTOR remake to come out to really say what that
I
is,
don't.
but
I don't think it's
who
ever coming
knows,
out.
man. Yeah, who knows, right? So yeah, just really sad. I also think it's also part and parcel to this is a PlayStation that is not only changing too, but they're also feeling the effects of not having like direct competition anymore with Xbox. And this is
Right.
where I feel like those two destinies are kind of dovetailed now,
Yeah. Good
because
point.
Nintendo is kind of in like a world of their own. Like they're competing on some sense, but at the same time, like they're kind of really doing their own thing and hitting the ground running and making billions of dollars by themselves without the help of PlayStation or Nintendo. And I feel like, or PlayStation and Xbox rather. So I feel like this is also a symptom of PlayStation just being like, you know, Blue Point doesn't make as much money as some of these other studios, so let's just kind of cut the dead weight while we're here, right? Like maximize the profits. So it's not like we have Xbox to really compete with anymore, so they can kind of do whatever they want. And I feel like that complacent PlayStation, Sony is kind of starting to rear their head again, too. But so unfortunate news. It's really a bummer, but I think that they, at least gave us some good games to play and some good remakes and remasters to go back to at some point. So
Yeah. I think the how much those remakes are appreciated and well reviewed, and I believe they sold well, is what makes this so frustrating. Um, Before I go on like a rant about it, why I think this is a horrible decision for Sony, I do want to set the context of, while I don't give a flying fuck about live service games, the conversations I'm seeing about this is like, Sony needs to stop with the live service thing and get back to what they're good at. And that's kind of what I'm talking about earlier, about like
yeah,
this like swimming up against, it's like, if Sony hits on one of these live service multiplayer games, they will make all of the money back that they've wasted immediately. I mean,
right.
and forever and more. So while I don't care about them, that's kind of a stupid way to look at an industry. Is just to be like, just solely myopic and like only what you think is good. People just are not buying the kind of games that we play at the same rate that they used to. It's just That's just the way it is. The money shows that. The time invested, people as a whole, the entire community of people that play video games worldwide are spending more time with less games. That's the thing that's happening. So if they're spending, all these people are spending more time with less games, flooding the market with more games is just, it's like diminishing returns. And so I want to just make sure that like, people understand that I get that. The reason that this is a mistake isn't because I'm mad that Sony isn't making more single player games and they need to go back to what they used to do. Like that's not what that's not happening. That ship is so gone.
Yeah.
There is no going back for either of these companies. It's more about the fact that 70 people worked at Blue Point. How much money did you really save doing this? To me, the idea of a remake is the fact that you're already starting ahead of most of these studios. You already know what the game looks like, feels like, sounds like. You have 70 people. There is no way that Bluepoint does not more than pay for itself.
Yeah.
And the only reason they shut them down and the only reason they haven't had a game come out since Demon's Souls is because Sony made them make a live service game.
Right, yeah, they were working on the God of War
live service. It's like, why? I get that you need the live service thing. I understand that, but why did you pick this studio to do it? They're not equipped for it. They're 70 people strong. You need a 400 person team. It feels like to make one of these massive. I don't know how many people worked for Firewalk, so I could be just dead wrong about that. But like to me, it's more about not understanding like the cars in your garage.
Yeah,
and like you just got rid of the collector's item that's going to be worth more and more over time. It's going to pay for itself, and you could have just gotten rid of a car that you could easily rebuy later. I mean, not that I want them to close any studios, but if you have to close a studio, what is Media Molecule doing these days?
Yeah.
Like, what Bend? Is it Sony Bend that made Days Gone? I mean, I guess that game did okay, but they've released one game in the last 15 years. It feels like there's probably more that I'm not thinking about, but I just don't understand the math. Like, how much are you really saving by cutting a team that's already absolutely proven themselves, and you are a company that has this massive backlog of famous properties that could be remade, and they will make money. No, they won't make live service money, but these guys will absolutely make money if you did a Bloodborne remake, or to your point, an MGS1 remake, or if they did the God of War trilogy, or if they did, you can go on and on. If they could do Uncharted 1. They could do, there's so many different ways they could go. I can't imagine that it costs as much to remake a game. I know that even if they're starting from scratch, it's just you're like skipping the whole art part. Like, you already know what the game is going to look like. It just feels to me like just not understanding your own tools. I just feel like I don't know if it's Herman Holst. Like, you don't know what you're doing. Like, you're just clueless, and you had to close something, and you're like, well, these guys, I don't know, the live service didn't work out well. It's like, like, why are you trying to tow a trailer with your 1970s Chevrolet, and then being like, hey, that Corvette, it couldn't tow very well. I think I'm gonna
scrap it.
I'm just gonna scrap it. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It just feels so. They're in Austin, Texas too. Like, there's no way. It's just this company. It's not like they're in Los Angeles and they cost a shit ton. It just makes no sense. None of it makes any sense at all. Even given the context of understanding that the hunt for live service must continue. I get it.
Right.
But there's no reason they needed to close.
It seems like you just could have done both. And
yes. It just feels like it's just like 10 years from now, Sony will be just fine, and it won't be because they closed Bluepoint.
Right.
It just feels like a completely senseless move to me.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think Herman Holst and whoever his little lieutenants are next on the chopping block after Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond.
Yeah, more than likely.
I think it's time. It's definitely time. It was time for them, and it's time for Herman. Herman has not been. I've not been impressed with him at all.
No, yeah, I haven't really felt impressed with PlayStation or Sony leadership probably since Sean Layton. Honestly,
yeah, I would agree. And that was the last kind of guard of our time, right? I mean, he quit because he's like, I don't want to go make Concord and and Fair Games and For Loop and all this shit, like
Soap World or whatever it was.
Oh my God.
The like Splatoon style one. Yeah.
Anime Girls or whatever. What was that called? Oh
It was
my
like
god.
Soapland or Soap World or something like that.
Oh shit, dude. Yeah, I forgot about that completely.
Remember Destruction All Stars?
Yes, that was like was that a PS5 launch
It was, yeah.
game? Yeah, I remember looking at that being like, I'm never playing that.
Yeah, it's just Twisted Metal. Like you could have just had
Yeah.
Twisted Metal.
But again, we say that's us. Like we're not playing that, and clearly no one else did either.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of games. I mean, I look at Fortnite and say I'm never playing that. So we can't. It's tough to like not put your lens through everything because that's how we see the whole world.
Yeah.
But I know that Sony is going to keep doing this, and so it's like I'm not going to sit here and bash my head against the brick wall of like stop looking for live service. They will never stop. This is it.
No.
They will do this forever until it's no longer a thing, and whatever the next thing is. Like that's just the way it is.
And it's not like PlayStation is the only ones who are doing it too. Like
Oh
all
my
three
God.
of these companies are like trying to get that done. You know what I mean?
Everybody.
It just so happens that like Xbox kind of bought themselves into it, right? Like they've got like World of Warcraft and Call of Duty and some of these other big money makers, but you know,
which is what's causing their snake mulching moment, right? They kind of bought themselves into a corner. So let's get into that. So okay, we got a lot of write-ins here. I'm going to read Craig's Gamer Room. Craig wrote in and he kind of quickly touched on both. So I'm actually going to read his backwards because we talked about Blue Point. So his thoughts on Blue Point were, how do you close down the studio that made Gravity Rush Remastered, the second best game ever made? Insanity.
That they did.
So that's his thoughts there. The other write-ins and Craig's other part of his write-in are all about Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. This will definitely be the rest of our show here. There's a lot to talk about. I pulled up some articles as well to pull from to kind of help guide our conversation. Craig said about that, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond should have been gone years ago, so bye-bye, suckers. That's his thought there. I realized I didn't include his other part about Blue Point. The Blue Point situation is so dumb and sad. What wasted potential? How do you close down? The studio that made Gravity Rush Remastered, the second best game ever made. Insanity. Miles wrote in. He's got a big write-in about Xbox. Miles said, with Phil Spencer gone, I'm curious to see what's next for the in-house Xbox studios. I wonder how much influence Spencer had over Halo Studios 343, and if this means there'll be any significant changes to what that team is doing. What about the studios purchased by Xbox, like Obsidian and ZeniMax, BGS? I imagine that Avowed would have turned out differently if it weren't for oversight above Obsidian's head. Look at the Outer Worlds games, for an example. There's no way Avowed couldn't have been as good if it weren't for someone who wasn't going to play the game telling the studio what to do. I'm not sure how true this is, but I read Blue Point got axed after their live service game they were working on got canceled. How many times will PlayStation push for a live service game? Over and over and over and over again. That will never,
until
ever
they're gone.
Stop.
Basically.
It will never stop, ever. Concord and Highguard weren't enough of a warning sign that your audience isn't really interested. Unfortunately, the audience is there. They're playing Fortnite. Like, the audience that they're trying to get to play these games is not us. It's not us. No one is like, we need to get the 35-year-olds playing our live service game. They're trying to get my nephew, who has jumped around between, he likes single-player games, but he also plays a ton of Fortnite and Valorant, and he plays Helldivers with us. That's like my only live service game that I've really played in the last 5-6 years. So Gen Z plays. This is what Gen Z plays, and that I'm not saying that is a bad thing. It just is what it is. They grew up with advanced internet and social media. Their whole world, their brain, their society is a different version of ours. Just like ours was so different from our boomer ass parents who were like, if you play that video game, you're gonna shoot everyone or something. You know what I mean? Like,
is Facebook gonna give me viruses?
That's now us when we're like, you don't even know what's good. Like, you're just playing stupid Fortnite. Like, that's what you sound. That's what we sound like. We sound like our boomer parents. So just remember that these are different human beings with different world experiences. That is who Sony is going after. It's just that these games suck. Concord and Highguard looked like shit. Their art was generic. They didn't offer anything new or different or fun or fresh. They're just like shit out clones of other games. They look like Overwatch and Valorant like had a mutated baby, and it's like we've all seen this already.
Somebody pointed out to me recently that Highguard is just basically the same word as Overwatch.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, it's no,
it's so funny.
So true. Have you seen gameplay of it? It looks like it's just Overwatch wannabe.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
crazy, man. It's just. There will be really awesome live service games that are. I mean, look at Helldivers.
Mm-hmm.
Helldivers is magnificent. It's so funny, and it's so fun to play, and it's so unique. It didn't come out. It doesn't feel or look like any of these other live service games. There will be another one. There's going to be another one that we will look at and be, that looks cool. This looks different.
I'm already like that with Marathon, dude.
There you go.
That looks fun. I'll play that for sure.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me what you think of that. The server crash, I think, or whatever server
slam
that started today. I think server crash. Hopefully that's not. What,
oh
not
no.
So to continue on with the write-in from Miles, and he kind of jumps into this, or that you already have Helldivers, which is still going relatively strong. That'll never be enough. They need more. They will always need more. This is what happens when these companies are publicly owned, and you just expect growth for
shareholder value, guys. Shareholder value.
Stagnant is just as bad as losing to these people. It's really unfortunate for the people that just lost their job because PlayStation has expectations for a product people don't seem to want. I've heard there are a great number of developers, artists, and studio management that can't get jobs right now due to the market collapse. There's going to be a shakeup in the development world soon, and the AAA dev bubble is going to pop. Xbox and PlayStation will have to strip old studios for parts and buy new indie studios made from older devs who lost their jobs the first time around, if they can even convince them for a buyout. That's a good point, and it's true. And it's happened before.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the way it's. We shouldn't say it's just the way it is, because we should be able to do this better without hurting so many people.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's not an industry that really has a lot of unions.
It's cutthroat, man.
And
it's extremely
hopefully
cutthroat.
We can get some more unions going. And unions aren't a fit-all solution. That there's problems with unions as well. But you certainly would like to see a little bit more of that. Make it a little harder to just dispose of all of these people.
Yeah.
But yeah, there will be a market collapse, and they deserve it. And maybe it'll work like the housing market did in 2008, where the whole thing comes down, and eventually, once people
or like it already happened with like ET in the Atari days,
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I mean, games aren't going anywhere. We're just going to be able to play the consoles and everything, but there's going to be a lot of change, and they're kind of stuck in the middle. It's not enough to just sell games to us, our crew, but what's funny is that they're kind of selling us off. We got put into the like funeral boat that they're shooting flaming arrows at right now to light on fire because they're trying to, and now we're going to be gone, and they're not going to have their live service game that they need, and they're going to be totally screwed.
Right.
Which we'll get into a little bit about that with the Xbox stuff, because there's some stuff that Asha said, the new CEO. There's some good things and some bad things she said, so we'll get into that. But last write-in, Mtrox, he wrote in, wow, that certainly is big news. Phil certainly got Xbox back on the rails as far as games, but the whole Activision situation and mass layoffs put a bad taste in my mouth. Whole teams and studios gone, games shuttered. I'm sure with this news, sadly more studios will be on the hot seat when the new regime gets hired. Tough moment for devs and people looking for jobs. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely the theme, right? Mm-hmm. The little guy keeps getting hurt while they try to figure their shit out.
Right.
So let's get into this. I mean, Phil Spencer, man, just kind of to quickly talk about, I think his legacy is going to be really complicated to summarize in a sentence or even a blurb.
Yeah.
he definitely pulled Xbox back from their original brink from the Xbox One disaster.
Yeah.
I thought
100%.
the One X was a great console, and he was the one who brought in all of the backwards compatibility and started to improve relationships with all of the teams, at least at first. He did a lot of good at first, and then it does feel like the Activision thing was kind of the where he started to things got just too much, became too much for him. And of course, live service fails, man. It'll kill you.
Yep.
Redfall, brutal. Kind of like Blue Point.
Yeah.
Redfall fails, and you close Arcane, who make incredible single player games, and lost 70% of their employees when they started making Redfall, because the people who were working there were like, this is not why I work.
This is not going to work. Yeah.
I don't make these games. I'm leaving. And they had a huge amount of turnover. And then the Activision purchase just kind of, it just put Xbox in a position. It really put them in a corner, right? It feels like they just got cornered, and him and Sarah Bond were trying to find their way out, and they both just died in the cave and never made their way out.
This is going to be kind of one of those situations where I can't wait to read the Jason Schreier novel about this 10 years from now, because I think all of the rumors about there being an internal kind of civil war at Xbox and Microsoft are absolutely true. And I hate to kind of sell it this way because it makes me seem like I'm a corporate cheerleader in some regards, but I think Phil Spencer's great, man. I think, like you said,
Phil too.
I think he pulled Xbox from the brink. I like that he actually plays games, and I think that the Activision situation definitely hurt them. But I think had Phil Spencer been able to enact his vision for what he saw for Activision Blizzard, I think that they really could have pulled themselves from the brink. I think it's Microsoft that was really putting the pressure on them. Satya Nadella at the top. Yep. You got the suits at Microsoft that are like, we just spent $70 billion on this company, and like, we need to make a return on investment now, And it's funny because I remember when that news first initially dropped, I was super, super excited. Like, I think our conversations for when we did our podcast about the Bethesda acquisition, I was just as excited about the Activision purchase before that, because I thought that this was the only way that they were going to be able to compete, Like, it was obvious to me that they were spinning up these studios and they were making games that just were not working. So it was time to kind of get out the pocketbook and be like, hey, like, it kind of sucks, but we're making Call of Duty exclusive. Like, you want to play it, you got to come to Xbox. And I thought that that was the only way to really get out of the situation that they were in. And I think that's kind of what Phil Spencer wanted to do. And it was really from on high from a lot of these Microsoft board members and shareholders that were like, there's no way that we could make these exclusive to the console. And thus kind of the true collapse really begins for me. But I think that Phil Spencer was sort of advocating for that first party, like, let's bring everything in-house and just make good games. And it was quite obvious that he got overruled in that situation. So, like I said, maybe that seems like a little bit of corporate cheerleading on my part, but I don't think he was part of the reason why that this collapse happened. In fact, I think he was trying to save us from that.
Yeah, so one issue with that theory that I will point out is that they couldn't, when they were in the middle of buying Activision, part of the agreement in order to be allowed to buy them was that they could not make those games exclusive, because had they made them exclusive, that was the government got involved. Like, one of the only times that our modern government agencies is actually doing what the fuck they're supposed to be doing was going, this is a monopoly, massive anti-competitive monopoly, and you're gonna take these one of the most popular gaming franchise in all of history and make it exclusive to your console. That's not, You can't just buy out the entire gaming industry and win that way. That is not how this free market is supposed to work. And in the middle of that, part of they had to promise that they would never make Call of Duty or any of these huge Activision properties exclusive. So that kind of ruined the whole idea for them right there. If that was their plan going in, they got screwed out of that by a government agency that's actually was doing what they're supposed to do and try and prevent a corporate monopoly. And so it went through and they couldn't turn around and make them exclusive. So I think that if that was the plan, it was a miscalculation. I think that's where Phil suffered. I really like Phil Spencer. I think he's a genuinely good human being that cares a lot about people, and he cares a lot about Xbox. And the man has been with Microsoft since 1988. The guy, he put his money where his mouth is. He played a ton of games. He's very, very much a gamer, loves single player stuff, loves creatives. I think his problem is that he clearly was probably too nice. A lot of the news that came out was that he's sort of like the happy uncle, and a lot of the teams took advantage of him, and development would go on and on and on, and there wasn't enough. It's like this scary balance between not being a evil corporate overlord that doesn't understand and over meddles and destroys good things and kills creativity, and a overly friendly, overly patient person who isn't actually really leading and making tough calls. And so it felt like he kept giving all these chances and not really producing and not really showing. I mean, how many Fable has been in development for fucking ever, and they opened up the initiative to make the Perfect Dark game, and it was supposed to be like a big Xbox Studios, and they made that game. It took them, it was like 8 years or whatever between.
It was like a year or two away, I felt like, too.
And then they canceled the whole thing, and I think that's kind of that was like the war between Phil but to go to like, not that I want to stand up for Satya Nadella, because I don't think he knows how to make a good gaming platform, but I also don't blame him for being like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, Phil? How can this game still be in development? Do you know how much money we've put into just letting this team sit around for a decade and never produce a game? Like, are you doing this or not? Like, what is going on over here? It felt mismanaged. 343 was all over the place, and there was all kinds of problems there under him. He just felt like it felt like a guy like running a daycare, and he just like Arnold Schwarzenegger in that Christmas movie in Kindergarten, where it's just like, yeah, he's a nice guy, but it's like, dude, you don't know, you're out of your depth here, clearly. And he's just like running around like, and it just it's just over, man. You have, and then right at the end, it started to come together a little bit. The games were coming out, things were getting a little bit better, and unfortunately, it's just too many problems. It took too long. You can't take 15 years to get everything on track. It's not tenable. And then with the Activision,
the blame for that too, definitely there's mismanagement that's going on at all levels of Xbox, and
sure.
But
for sure.
I mean, you also got to throw that at Matt Booty too. Like, he was responsible. I don't even know why he's still there.
Yeah, he should not be there. I
mean, he was in charge of first-party studios, so it was kind of like one of those things where it was like, if anything, he should have been the middle manager who was really reining people in.
Yeah, and that, I mean, Matt Booty shouldn't be there, and Phil Spencer picked Matt Booty, so he needs to be responsible for what the people he picked and put in charge produce. And unfortunately, he also picked Sarah Bond.
Yeah.
And so I have some interesting quotes from Tom Warren on The Verge about Sarah Bond. So again, it's like, it's not just about who Phil is, but also like, who are the people he picked and brought up to do the work. Let's take a look here. Okay, here we go. So this is a quote from this article. Some Xbox employees I've been speaking with saw the writing on the wall for Bond last year. She was promoted to Xbox president in October 2023, just days after Microsoft finalized its $68.7 billion deal to acquire Activision Blizzard. Bond had been crucial in getting the deal over the line with regulators and slowly started to become the face of Xbox as Spencer took on the complicated duties of integrating a huge new business into Microsoft gaming. The pivot away from console, led by Bond. So this is an Xbox campaign where they basically were like, we don't want to be a hardware company anymore. Sarah Bond, but that was her baby. The pivot away from console, led by Bond under Spencer's direction, hasn't gone well for Xbox. Microsoft's Xbox revenue has declined for 3 financial years in a row, and it looks like those declining revenues are going to continue through fiscal 26. Most of the current and former Xbox employees I've spoken to in recent days are relieved that Bond is leaving Microsoft. I've heard from multiple sources that Bond has been tough to work with and built a team structure that meant if you didn't follow the vision or questioned it, you were out. Most have praised her ability to strike partnerships with companies and developers, though. I understand that Bond's strategy had been failing internally and been questioned multiple times. Bond had tried to push mobile and cloud over console to reach potentially millions more Xbox customers, but the result has been a classic case of chasing tomorrow's customers by neglecting today's.
Mm-hmm.
So good job, Tom Warren. Apparently he had like 16 individual sources that he was able to get to talk on the record. Really good article. It's behind a paywall, so I had to find quotes from the articles. I couldn't read the whole thing, but super interesting. So I think that's where it comes down with the Phil thing is like it's a little bit less about him individually and more about the people he picked to do the job and failed.
Yeah. Well, you've also got these heads of these studios too, in the last, 10 years or whatever that he's been in charge also that have left during that time. Like I think of, just off the top of my head, the 343 lady that wasn't cutting it. They like let her go or something right after Infinite was coming out. So it also seemed like a part of it too is just this perfect storm of some of these companies just getting horribly mismanaged, like at the same time too. So
yeah, I mean, it's been a mess over there. And the funny thing, so we'll get into the next stage of this, which is another article that I have here, and it's kind of the next step, right, with this, Asha Sharma.
Mm-hmm.
So, boy, this can really go one of two ways based on who she is, where she comes from, and the things she said. So she is coming from an AI background. Kind of a scary thought there in the beginning. There's kind of two thoughts on this. One is that she's basically the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And it's her job to kind of gently euthanize Xbox. Because she doesn't have any experience with gaming previously. But the other side of that is that she does have a lot of experience and has a very clear understanding of successful customer-facing platform strategy. She fixed a lot of companies that were struggling before she showed up. Like Instacart, I think, was a huge one. She put Instacart, she like quadrupled the value of that company or something like that under her direction. I am of the mind, and we'll get into some specifics from this article. I am of the mind that I don't really care. Like all of the stuff online is like, she not even played a game. You know, like that sort of thing. Like, I don't really care unless, of course, that is directly leading to horrible decisions.
Right.
If a bunch of, I kind of think about it like NFL owners. Some of the best NFL owners are because they understand that they don't know their shit and they pick the right people who do know their shit and get out of the way. They put the right people on the path to be successful, and they are sort of overseeing the culture and they're setting a real general direction, and then they're putting experts to do that job that they might not be qualified to do. Like they're good at getting things done.
Right.
And so I don't really care that she doesn't have gaming experience.
No. Yeah.
It's just going to be about what she does with the company. It's the decisions that are made. Have you looked at much about Asha Sharma yet?
No. I mean, I had heard about her kind of like next in line for the throne of succession at Xbox, and I think I saw something about her AI background and thought that that was an ill omen, so to speak. But I don't know very much about her.
And it could be, right. We're not going to know. I'll give you my copium theory at the end of our show here, but I want to read a little bit from this article, just if people haven't watched YouTube videos on this or whatever yet. It's really interesting stuff. Jez Corden at Windows Central, he's kind of the main guy there. He's one of the best Xbox reporters out there. He has a really good podcast. I don't listen to it a ton, but he guest hosts on the Xbox podcast that I do listen to, which is Defining Duke, pretty often. And I always really like it when he comes on. It's just huge depth of knowledge. So for him to get this interview with Asha and with Matt Booty is really cool, I think. I'm very excited for him. So first, I do want to read her opening letter to fans. And so I'm going to quote the article and then the what she has to say, and I'll make sure to specify. So this is the article from Jez. He said, in her opening letter, Asha Sharma said she wanted to bring about a quote unquote return to Xbox. I asked exactly what that means, since it effectively implies that Xbox has begun to stray from what Xbox is. Sharma volunteered an emphasis on Xbox's core, and specifically its beleaguered console platform, which has seen a few fiscals of near constant decline. So here's her quote. For me, the spirit of return to Xbox is about returning to the spirit that the team was founded on. It's that spirit of surprise. It's the spirit of building something nobody else was willing to try. I've heard renegade, rebellion, and fun used. That's what I was thinking about when I wrote that article, or letter, I guess. She continues and says, I think that our core Xbox fans and players have invested up to 25 years of themselves in these universes and our console. I want to make sure everybody knows I'm committed. Sorry, my voice is catching up with me. I'm committed to Xbox, starting with the console. We're going to keep meeting players where they are. The world continues to evolve and change. We're going to make sure Xbox is a great place for developers and players. We want to invest in reducing the artificial divide between different types of devices that they want to use us with. I think that's going to mean a lot more investment in breaking down the barriers and helping developers build once and show up across different hardware experiences. For me, I believe Xbox starts with its fans and will grow from there. That's what I wanted to signal with the word return to Xbox. So, okay, this is very PR approved, right? And she's pretty vague, but it is. If they're basically, she goes on to like double down on hardware, while also being like, it's not like they're gonna hit it in reverse and be like, okay, everything's exclusive again.
No, the toothpaste is not going back in the tube on that one.
Correct, 100%. Just like we'll read some more, but what do you think of so far? Just kind of that baseline, like kind of what I was saying earlier about the NFL owner, the good ones. They come in, they understand their starting point and the direction that they want to see the team go in, and kind of how they want to do it, and then they let other people do it so far. So, like, what do you think of what she's saying there?
Yeah, I mean, if that is the plan moving forward, I think that that's a really good plan to stick with. I think the focus on hardware is unexpected. I would have thought, if anything, you would just push deeper into the games initiative part of it rather than the hardware. Because I don't know, it kind of seems like they've kind of crossed the threshold of like there's really no returning from the hardware side of things. Like I think they're too far behind, and nowadays I just think you have to focus on software. I think that's kind of what Microsoft does the best, right? So or at least what they used to do the best. I don't know about nowadays. But yeah, I think her her message is a little bit hard to decipher, but if she is meaning what I'm thinking she's meaning, I do like what I'm hearing about it. But it's kind of one of those things too where like the new head coach comes in, to go back to your sports analogy. We just got to see who's on the coaching staff. Like what
Right.
trees are those people coming from? Like what coaching staffs have they been a part of? What winning cultures have they established or come from? So I'll be interested to see who she places in her proverbial coaching tree. But I think having Matt Booty still there is probably not a not a good sign. But
No. I mean, I guess I could say for Matt Booty that the first party stuff has improved. They have actually gotten games out and things have gotten better, but boy, took a long time.
yeah,
Probably longer than it ever should
10 years
have.
in the making, basically.
Mm-hmm. So here's a little bit more from Jez, and then her quote back. So he said, "There's been a ton of speculation about what kind of moves Asha might make. Xbox notoriously ditched any form of exclusivity on its games, shifting units to PlayStation, paying little mind to the criticisms that it reduces the need to actually buy an Xbox. Sharma told me that nothing is off the table when it comes to revising Xbox's strategy, but finalizing the strategy will take time and data parsing. On Xbox's recent strategic decisions, Sharma said, quote, the plan's the plan until it's not the plan. She said, right now, I need to learn, candidly. I need to know the why of these decisions, what we were optimizing for, and what the data says about the Xbox strategy today. That's my honest answer. I'm looking at lifetime value, not just what happened in a previous moment or in short-term efficiencies and things like that. The plan's the plan until it's not the plans. That's the full quote of the context. And then she goes on to say, Xbox players have thousands of dollars invested in money and time. It's incredibly important for me to understand that and protect that. I am committed to returning to Xbox. That starts with console. That starts with hardware. You will hear more about that soon. We'll have some announcements coming up. You will see us collectively investing there. We also know that there are a lot of players who aren't on console or our hardware, and I want to deliver great games to them too. I need to learn more about what that can look like, what decisions were made, what we need to do going forward, and I want a little bit of time and space to do that. And then to that same hardware thing, Matt Booty said, our studio system is fully built around being a first party. We're not built to just be a publisher. It is core to our partnership with the Microsoft platform, being involved in early hardware decisions. All the work we've done to get games like Gears of War running great on new devices like the Xbox Ally and so on. It is embedded within our structure. We're not backing away from that. We're committed to being a first-party games publisher in partnership with our first-party platform team. So, I mean, they can say whatever and then just do the opposite, right? Like that. I mean,
that's, right. I mean, that's what she said. It's the plan until it's not the plan,
right?
So.
And I appreciate the candidness there, and that they may very well just sunset the Xbox console, and none of this happens. Here's my hopium copium take.
Yeah.
This is what I want. This is like, if it all works out, while being realistic, right? I'm not over here like, we're going to be like the 360. Like, that's not.
You're right.
I know I'm beyond that point here. If they can do this, Xbox is already in a position to be what Steam is trying to be. So Steam is a platform, and they sell games. There's Valve, and they can develop games. Imagine Steam with Valve and like all the other teams that Xbox has. You keep the branding because it has weight. Whether people say it does or not, it does.
For sure.
And they want to be Steam. And easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're already, because they have Activision Blizzard and because they have Microsoft, obviously that messes a little bit with like the Steam integration into Xbox and some of that. I don't know if that's going to stay, but if they can create hardware just like Steam's trying to do, because like right now Steam's struggling with the Steam machine. They're struggling to get because of the AI and all that. But the thing is, if any company can cut in line, it's going to be Microsoft.
Right.
They're what, like one of two companies that's valued at $1 trillion or more than $1 trillion?
Yeah, if there's any company that can afford to lose out on that, right? Like making a competitively priced console and being like, yeah, we're probably losing like $500 on this, but
even if they go with the whole like we're going to make premium consoles for our hardcore fans that like me, where I'm not just a fanboy and I'm an idiot and I'm going to get robbed because of it. The reason that I'm really hoping this is true is because I have so much money lost. If I leave Xbox, I'm throwing away thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of games that I've been buying games for the Xbox since 2001.
Yeah.
And the way, because of Phil Spencer, I can pop a lot of my OG Xbox games that I bought back then into my fucking Series X and they work. So like even the games I bought 20 years ago still have value as games, not just collector's items. I'm not going anywhere. So if Xbox can like figure their shit out with the whole full screen experience and they can make a Steam basically like their Xbox PC platform as user friendly, and again, these are a lot of ifs. I understand that. But this is like the vision that I think makes sense. Yeah, okay, your games are Halo's on PlayStation. Whatever. Pay the bills, guys.
Yeah.
But that the benefit that I get as someone who's going to stick with this stupid fucking company is that I buy the handheld and I buy the console and I have a nice PC and I'm playing all of my games in all of these different places all of the time. And I can cloud stream and I have a Game Pass and I've got all these things. It's like this, I become this sort of like walking library. Anywhere I go, anywhere I am, anywhere I travel, I have my games and it's my account and my progress and my library. And that is their future. They are a publisher and they are a seller of games. They sell other people's games. They sell the games that they make. They have Game Pass. They pay indie developers to put their games on Game Pass because that's a way to get a little bit more visibility for smaller teams. Like they become this big sort of rival, like they're not even really competing with PlayStation anymore.
Right.
They're on a whole different, they're just doing something so different. They're almost more of a competitor to Steam.
Yeah.
And they have, I don't know, I mean the Series X has sold 35 million, I think. I bet 15 to 20 million of those people have a pretty big digital library with Xbox. So you're kind of starting with this kernel of hardcore fans that will pour money into this thing. And your job is to be like, look, your games are worth more. When you spend $70 on a game on the Xbox store on your PC, it's worth more because you're getting it 4 times over. If you want it 4 times over, you just got to buy all this other stuff, right? You got to buy they're going to keep making handhelds, whether they partner with AMD and have ROG make them more of those and they never make their own, or if they make their own first party one, they're going to make another console. They don't care if it's too expensive. It might be worth $1,500 or $1,200 if it means that you're getting another access point to your games and you can play upstairs and you can play on your PC and you can play on your handheld and then you can stream on the TV at your uncle's house or whatever. Like you have this whole, it's just you're getting more licenses for one product with a single purchase, and it's a competitive advantage over every other platform. And at some point, I mean, 15 years down the line, I mean, Sony is putting their games on Steam. If Xbox is really good, they'll put it on Xbox because they're not. No one's buying an Xbox console that isn't like me, anyways.
Right.
and that won't actually hurt Xbox. That's like my hope.
Yeah, I think
That's my
so.
vision.
I think that was the vision as it was being laid out
Yeah,
from this team that's leaving. So it's
agreed.
just so hard to say with like new management coming in. You know, it's
You just
it's interesting. You're just gonna have to see like who this new CEO kind of installs. You know,
yep,
and
absolutely.
it's going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see. I wish I had a time machine and I could see 2 to 3 years in the future. Where is Xbox at? What are they doing? What do they have out hardware wise?
Yeah.
What's happening to their first party studios? Like those are all the questions I would really love to see, but it's just the time. We're not there yet to be able to see. So
No,
this
and
is such a new change.
I'm not over here like I'm excited. You know, I'm not gonna just eat up the fucking pudding right now.
The
I'm just like,
slop.
yeah, you know, like I know, this whole could all be just done, like crash and burn, full publisher, no console support, like screw everybody over. It's very possible. The last thing I'll put before we hang it up here, she did, given that her background is with AI. Um, the last part of the article says that a lot of discourse around Asha's appointment revolves around her tenure in Microsoft's core AI organization, whose mission is to integrate AI features into Azure tools. I asked Asha Sharma how she felt about artificial intelligence and the discourse regarding that surrounding her appointment at Xbox. So here's what she said. I think that with any new technology, it brings possibilities as a tool, but even more important, especially now, we need to draw lines on what we won't do. That's what I'm attempted to do when I shared my opening letter. I will not flood our ecosystem with slop. We won't have careless output. We won't have derivative work. I deeply believe in the words that I shared previously there. We'll see. Again, it's just
Okay.
words, but
It's good lip service.
I'd rather hear that than be like, well, you know,
It's
the
hard to
power
say.
of AI is real. Like, at least she was like, look, like we're not gonna, but we'll see.
We're not going to flood the zone. Yeah.
What she considers slop and what we consider slop might also be very different.
Right. Exactly.
It's very interesting, man. We're seeing a lot of change.
A ton of change, man. It's what a different industry this is. Like, you know, you go back 5 years, you go back 10 years, just in that amount of time, how much it's changed and who the major players are, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's tough, man. Um, I'll send us out on her final words here in this interview, and then we'll call it. So her final quote was, "We know that the business has gone through some challenges. I'm going to use my expertise and the leaders that have the deep gaming depth around the table to help us grow the business and make sure that we have an incredible next 25 years." Doesn't sound like they're sunsetting it, but again, God knows.
it's the plan until it's not the plan.
Until it's not the plan. I will listen. I will learn. I will communicate what we're seeing and what we're doing. I think from here, the work is proof over promise. Matt and I are in it. Every hour of every day of every night, I am fully in this thing. This team has brought it back before, and I'm here to help us do it again. Dude, like the part of me that loves this branding and is so connected emotionally to this brand is just like, please, please,
Yeah, I would love to see him.
please let this be real.
Yeah, I would love to see them right the ship, man. Fingers crossed. You know, like I don't want it to fail. So
No,
I don't want Xbox to go away, but you know,
I don't want any of these
what can you do?
companies to go away.
No, yeah,
You know, it's like that would be horrible. All like just no option. Someone would have to jump in, but I don't know. I guess Steam, but they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time even getting off their original real console off the ground here because of what's going on.
If it had launched a year or two earlier, I think that they could have really made a big splash. But yeah, things with Steam and Valve right now are very shrouded in mystery.
Yeah. It's just so hard to say. It's very strange. You know, I guess for me as a huge Xbox guy, it can't actually get any worse. Like, even Xbox being shuttered is kind of the direction it was going anyways.
Right.
So it's like, all right, I loved Phil for a long time. I appreciated the personality he brought to the brand, but he failed ultimately. I think that's very obvious. Him and Sarah Bond and Matt Booty failed.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's either going to come in here and basically just take this thing out behind the barn and shoot it, which is kind of where it was going regardless, or they're really going to do this and make changes. So it's like, for me, it's like, it can't really, it only goes up or straight ahead.
Yeah.
There is no other. So I'm in a good spot there.
Boom or bust. Yeah.
It's boom or bust. So I hope she's not lying. I hope the plan is the plan until it's not. Thing doesn't mean that everything she said counts for nothing, and that this is over. But yeah, there's a part of me that's like, you're saying the right stuff. It's very PR heavy, but if you back it up, man, I'm gonna feel great in a couple years about sticking it out and buying the stupid chair.
Yeah, dude, honestly, as long as like they keep really good games coming, I mean, that's kind of, like, at the end of the day, like, you keep putting out there like Indiana Jones out there and like stuff from these first party studios that are actually like really, really good. I mean, like, Fable, I don't really care what Xbox becomes at that point, right?
Right. So. Yeah. I mean, even if it kind of goes the way they were, that we were talking about, like, even they're going to sell me. I'll probably eventually, I'll buy their hardware, unless it's just outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am one of their core groups. They have me until they're down. Like, basically, if the ship sinks, that's the only time that I'll leave. So
right.
We'll see.
You're in the band playing right along as the Titanic sinks.
Dude, I am. I absolutely am. And it's not out of a foolish, blind hope that, like, it's fucking awesome. Like, it's not a, console war thing. Like, it's the best. Xbox is the best.
Right.
It's truly practical. It's like I've said over and over. It's just, that's where my money is. Like, I can't really pull the money out. It's not a bank. I've spent the money. It's an investment. So
right.
I'm kind of trapped, and that was my fault, I guess. But that was just the path of my life. Took me down the Xbox pathway, and I guess I could have jumped off at the Xbox One era, but I liked the one. I guess I'm easy to please from their perspective. So, all right, man. Any final words before we sign off?
No. Another great episode this week. I'm gonna hear what people have to say about it.
Me too. I'm gonna pop right in here and start editing and get it posted for Friday morning.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, everyone, again, thank you so much for joining us. We are super excited to talk to you all next week. We'll have our next topic out this Monday, so keep your eyes peeled on the Discord. But until then, have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we will catch you all later.
See you guys. Stay safe.